Fellow FanDuelers, and what a week it was. What a week on FanDuel or DraftKings. This is probably this slate that just passed was probably the most exciting slate that's probably gonna happen all year. Like all the scores are high. All the scores are high. People dropping 30s, 20s, multiple people, tons of touchdowns and yardage were just scored all over the place. And it was definitely a fun slate. I pretty much had a fun slate. That and hockey. Uh, won a private game, and won some money in the public leagues. Plus hockey was pretty much a fun night. So I pretty much had 150 and pretty much doubled my entry with a lot of future hockey tickets. So November is gonna be pretty busy for me, hockey, in the hockey sense or whatever. So definitely a good ROI. Look forward to next week. Uh, Before we go, I really broken this habit. And I did it the first couple of weeks, but I really got to go through the way that slate went. I definitely got to go and give the the review of the weekend. The person who took down the 250K with 239.8 points, Zubu123. Um, yeah, I was curious to see if you did a lot of paying up and if you went budget or you punted, and obviously FanDuel you punt once you hit 59 and under, or you can still find some decent players at 57, 58, 5900. But if you're punting, you probably went like 5500 and lower, or maybe you punted tight end because tight end looked pretty ugly. This person pretty much went mid level all the way and pretty much punted with the Washington defense. The optimal lineup, and he won by a point, like a point, 1 point something. I'll tell you the lineup right now. Nobody on this lineup is, well, the players anyway. The defense, he had Washington. Washington was right under the defense that I had. They were 3,400. All my lineups had Seattle. Like I said, if you at least took some of my advice or whatever, Seattle is overachieving. Pete Carroll's draft picks all working out, and especially at home. Once again, like I said, Seattle was going against a team that's not a powerful offense. It's mainly running the ball, and like I said, they got the Daniel Jones, and they was able to turn him over a bit. Like I said in my slate preview in my last episode. So before we move on to week 9, the week 8 optimal lineup that won by 1 point something. Once again with 239.88 points. He did not punt anywhere. He just went mid level and then paid up where he could. Obviously, he had Tua. Tua had 29-18. Tony Pollard, he was the chalk. You had to eat the chalk. If you didn't eat that chalk, I don't know what you did. 33.2. Deontay Foreman, who was under 50% owned, 31.8. DJ Moore, I had him in some lineups. He was decently on 25.7. He scored 24.5, scoring at 36.6 and only 10% owned. That was the main key. AJ Brown, because a lot of people like me went up, punted some positions. I punted tight end. I went Noah Fant, Disley, and somewhere else. And I was trying to get Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson played well, but he did not play his he did not perform to what his standards were, and definitely for what his price was. So we'll continue with AJ Brown, 36.6. DeAndre Hopkins, I had a lot of him as well, 27.9. Where he did it was he just went mid level. He went 6,000. Zach Ertz 11.4, Alvin Kamara 30, 38, 33, and then Washington defense just held him down with 7 points, and that's how he won. That's pretty much how he won. He did not punt any position. If I click all these guys here, let me just extend his menu, and I will tell you all the prices, all his prices, and nobody here is 5,000, not at all. Like I said, Washington defense, trust me, I pay attention to the low owned defense, and Washington was pretty well owned at 17%, but they were 3,400. And he was able to get Tua for 77. Tony Pollard, like I said, he was the main chalk for 63. Deontay Foreman was 64, so just 100 more than him. At 62, DJ Moore. And then it was at AJ Brown and DeAndre Hopkins that he pretty much went up, but he didn't get any like 89 or 87,000. He didn't get like Tyreek Hill or anything like that. AJ Brown was 82. DeAndre Hopkins was 79. That's not going to happen anymore. Zach Ertz was 6 even. Kamara was 78. That's not going to happen anymore. without even looking at the slate, I'm willing to take a guess. Kamara jumps to no lower than 82 without even looking. And like I said, the Commanders were 34. So where most people try to punt and get greedy, I thought I had lineups with Hopkins. I was able to do Hopkins, Hill, Jefferson, Hopkins, Hills, Waddle, but Jefferson just didn't perform. I thought I was really going in there with and I thought my punch would be able to do something. Tight ends didn't really do much. Disley didn't do much. Marquez Callaway didn't do much. There was other lineups that I punted. I went with Chris Moore with Houston, and that offense just went down. I had lineups that I switched my wide receivers around with Waddle. I went Waddle, Hopkins, and Devontae Adams. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, it was definitely a fun slate. I can't complain. It could have been better, yeah, but hey, I tried to punt, and sometimes it's not worth the punt. Sometimes it's good to get your top premium players, and then you don't have to punt. Just go medium level, and that's what this lineup did. So yeah, let's go check this lineup right quick. Let me get this menu out the way, and yeah, we're gonna go and check week 9. Okay, as I normally do. Before I even talk about FanDuel, let's talk about what we are all going up against. If you haven't looked at the slate and this is your first bit of news, or maybe you went to other videos or whatever the case is, let's get the preview. Who is not on the slate? There's a lot of teams not on the slate. This will probably be the most condensed slate. I don't know if a lot of teams have a bye like this week, but of course, you also got to mind this, the bye teams, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. Here are the teams that are not on the slate. Get the list ready. For Thursday, Philly's going at Houston. So, on top of that, no juggernaut Jalen Hurts, no A.J. Brown, no Miles Sanders, no Philly defense. And like I said, with rumors going around, doesn't look like Brandon Cooks will be on Houston much longer, but you won't be able to get him. And there will be no oh man, why is his name slipping now? Oh, Dameon Pierce. So no Dameon Pierce. Okay, we'll continue with the Sunday night game. A lot of juggernauts again. Tennessee's playing Kansas City. So that means no King Henry. That means, let me plug this charger in. Sorry, people. There we go. So that means no King Henry, no Mahomes, no Kelsey, no Hardman, no CEH, no Chiefs defense. The Monday night game, Baltimore versus New Orleans. So guess what? You don't even have to worry about Kamara now that I'm seeing this now. So no Kamara. Andy Dalton's been playing well. If Michael Thomas gets healthy, no Michael Thomas. No Chris Olave. No Saints defense because Saints are at home against Baltimore. So that means no Mark Andrews. No Duvernay, whoever they throw out of the backfield, and most importantly, no Lamar Jackson. And the bye week teams. Here's the list. This is the biggest buy. This is probably one of the biggest buys. Maybe they're doing it more next week, but we'll see. Okay, so it doesn't really apply to Jacksonville because that's normally like their home game. So Jacksonville is coming back from their London trip. They're at home against Las Vegas. But the bye week teams, since we're talking about London, most of the time when you fly back, you normally get your bye. So at the midway point, week 9, Denver's on bye. Dallas is on bye. Cleveland's on bye. Pittsburgh is on bye. San Francisco's on bye. So that means no Russell Wilson, probably most importantly for fantasy, no Broncos defense. No New York Giants, that means no Saquon. And no getting sneaky with a running Daniel Jones. For Pittsburgh, no Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson, Pickens. For San Francisco, Debo's still hurt. If he was to come back, there's no Debo, there's no Ayuk, and most importantly, there's no McCaffrey. For Dallas, no Zeke, no Tony Pollard, no Dak, no CeeDee Lamb, and most importantly, probably for fantasy purposes, the best defense to create turnovers, no doubt defense. And with Cleveland, there will be no Nick Chubb. There will be no availability for Cleveland defense. Amari Cooper's off the slate. And we shall see. don't be surprised if this guy gets traded because the main two names left. Well, there's still three names out there that are still part of trade rumors, but the two heaviest names are Brandon Cooks and Kareem Hunt. If Kareem Hunt does get traded to a team that's playing, it will have to happen by the deadline tomorrow. He'll have time to fly out and maybe even practice with the team. Might be able to suit up. He will have like what 3 to 4 days. Unlike how when McCaffrey got traded on a Thursday, if y'all remember, McCaffrey got traded on a Thursday, didn't get to San Francisco till Friday. So, I mean, he suited up, but he barely did anything that time that he got traded. So Kareem Hunt might be able to suit up and might be able to get some action. Same thing with James Robinson. James Robinson was a late trade or whatever when he got to the Jets. So if trade deadline happens before tomorrow 3 o'clock or 4 p.m. Eastern, that's plenty of time for guys to leave where they're at and be able to get in at least a few days of practice. You'll be able to travel in Wednesday and then start with the team. Like I said, McCaffrey had the short slate, so that's why they didn't. That's why that first time they didn't play him that much. But we'll see. But that's the news right there. So a lot going on there. So that means this slate is even more condensed. This slate is looking like it's only 10 games. There's 11 on the schedule, but yeah, there's only 10 games. 8 1 o'clock games, only 2 games at 4. The 4:05 game is Arizona at home against Seattle. The 4:25 game is Tampa Bay home against Los Angeles in that playoff rematch from last year from the divisional round. So let's get a preview on and let's take a look. And let's take a look at this schedule right now. Just monitoring a little bit of hockey here. I'm just trying to get some money back. I did not expect Los Angeles to be kicking ass like that. I have the highest scoring guy on the slate. My man got Taze Thompson from Buffalo. I think the man is rocking a 60. I have 211 points. I'm in 180th place. How does that feel? Just give me some money back. Give me half my shit back. That's it. Just give me half my shit. Let's see here. Let's go. Let's see. Let's get to the main slate. Let this load up. Just curious. Yeah, I did a few rounds. It was a nice 4-4-4. I put in like $60 and 66 bucks of entries, and I'm currently looking at $26. Fuck it. Let me break half. I got 211. I got another lineup in the cash at 185.50, 183.60. That's at the border, right at the border. 211 on the hockey slate. You want me to be exact? 211.60. 183rd place. Can't stand Jordan Benson. He's done it to me a few times, but I can't stand that man. Anyway, you guys are not here to hear me vent about hockey. LA is still up 5-1 with 14 minutes left. Yeah, I'm just hoping to hold on to some cash, man. Just hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Okay, so let's preview this slate. So, once again, like I said, it's pretty much a condensed slate, so ownership is going to look a little bit different. But already I did the one position that I did like was obviously got check QB out, and there's a lot of good opportunities here. Now, obviously, Josh Allen's on the slate. There are opportunities if you want to get away from Josh Allen. If you don't want to pay up that much, Josh Allen is 9,300 at the New York Jets. Yes, the Jets are playing above their head, but this is where the Jets are going to meet them, pretty much the meat and potatoes of their schedule, and just look for Josh Allen to perform. It definitely wasn't pretty the last time. I think last year, I remember watching that game. I had them in fantasy or whatever, and I think, yeah, they pretty much ran over them almost like 40-something to 7 type. I forgot. Well, it was an ugly game. But you got Josh Allen at 93. Right now, he's down, I think, 11-0. They're struggling, but they're going to be at home. I mean, technically, in a way, they're kind of at home. They're playing in Ohio. They don't have to travel far. Joe Burrow's at home at 8,500 against Carolina. So there's a big dip. Josh Allen from 93 goes down to Joe Burrow 85. But here are the interesting plays. I've been talking about Seattle's defense. They've been playing above their head, just like how the Giants' defense been doing this season, and the Jets' defense been doing this season. But Kyler Murray is 82, so he's more than 1,000 cheaper than Josh Allen, and he's at home against Seattle. I understand Seattle's been playing well, but I definitely would take chance on Kyler Murray at home against Seattle defense on the road. Tua, he's on the road at Chicago, but he's 8,000, man. You see what that offense does, 8,000. So that's 1,300 cheaper. And we do know if Buffalo does blow out the Jets, Josh Allen's not playing the fourth quarter. They may throw a lot, but the one thing that Bills do in their blowouts, they do not play Josh Allen the whole game. Keep that in mind for those who don't, really focus on that. There's little intricacies you should really pay attention to certain teams. If Buffalo does end up doing what they did last year in New York, and it's like 38-3, 38-10 or something like that, you might get Josh Allen maybe one drive, maybe in the fourth quarter, but don't be surprised if he sits in the fourth. Just beware of that blowout. That is speculation right there. Pay attention to that. You heard it here first. They do sit him. They do sit him. Kirk Cousins at Washington is also, I think this is where, hey, don't mean to jump in the wide receiver, but for the people who got burned by Jefferson yesterday, this is where you jump back on him. You jump back on him against Washington. 7,900, Kirk Cousins, that's a nice stack. Hopefully Justin Herbert has Keenan Allen, the entire array of weapons. They're at Atlanta, indoors, good field, a healthy Keenan Allen, the worst pass defense, the second to third worst pass defense in the league. Justin Herbert is 78. Okay? Now, let's continue going down a bit. There's a lot of good matchups here. We're going to keep going right in order. We got Geno Smith. He's at Arizona. Arizona's not the best, defense in the world. I'm glad Metcalf wasn't hurt. I'm glad he was able to play. So, Geno Smith will go with his main two wide receivers. And he's at 75. That's an interesting stack. If you want to keep going down a bit, you could go down to Marcus Mariota. Mariota's at home against he's at home against the Chargers or whatever. 71. He's gonna do it with his legs. Hopefully he does more. Hopefully he can do more with his arm. Also at 7,100, right there with him, Jared Goff at home. Yes, they've been slumping a bit on the offensive end a bit, but Jared Goff is going against a struggling Green Bay defense. Now, they are highly ranked, but, like I said, Lions offense at home. Another week of, Amon-Ra St. Brown healthy. You get another week of DeAndre Swift and everything like that. So that's another interesting play. And I'm not going to lie to you. Let's just be real. Because of the matchup he has. Sorry, I'm not going to talk about, just going to let you guys know. No, I'm not going to be talking about Derek. Well, I guess I'll talk about Derek Carr because that is a bounce back at Jacksonville. Yes, I've said, you've heard me in my episodes. That could be a bounce back, but you heard my episode. Jacksonville's defense is legit. They can get the Carr and cause some mistakes, but look for him to try and feed Devontae Adams. That's another wide receiver you should jump back on because maybe the ownership might be a little low. He got burned. Maybe people don't like Derek Carr. Well, that's where you get your leverage in DFS. But let's go back up and who might be my favorite low play because of the defense that he's playing against and because of the offensive players that he still has. You gotta like Aaron Rodgers this week. If there's a pay down option that I like here, it's Aaron. He's in Detroit. He's had a lot of great games in Detroit, and he's playing the worst defense. So Romeo Doubs, Allen Lazard, if he gets healthy because he was ruled out this past week. I like Aaron Rodgers. He's right now looking at this. He's my favorite low owned. He's my favorite low owned play this week. And then I guess if you want, other low owned options can be Trevor Lawrence at 6,800. Las Vegas defense is not that good. Jacksonville's at home. And if Cooper Kupp is healthy, why not Matthew Stafford against that struggling Tampa Bay defense? They were bad enough. They're bad enough in the air as it is, and now that defense is. I think they're missing. Well, we'll see what they have going into the week, but they're down at least 4 or 5 starters as of right now, as I'm talking to you. So Matthew Stafford at 6,700. But my favorite low owned play. You may not like it, but like I said, this is DFS, opportunity and matchups. And Aaron Rodgers looks like a good matchup. They may run the ball against him, but guess what? Aaron Rodgers could throw it down to Lazard. Romeo Doubs can catch something deep. They're definitely susceptible to the deep ball. That's another reason why they won the world. They give up the most yardage per pass on those big plays. And Aaron Rodgers, notorious for throwing a screen pass. They've always been a screen team since the Brett Favre days. No matter what the regime is, Green Bay always runs a good screen play or a good running back out in the flat. Aaron Rodgers is my favorite low-end play. Let's go to running back. And we'll start off with once again, the top options are all good. It just depends on what you want to pay for. 9,400 Austin Eckler at Atlanta. We got Josh Jacobs at Jacksonville. He's at 8,800, so it takes a little bit of a dip right there, about $600. $300 cheaper than Dalvin Cook at Washington. That's also a bad defense. They're not stopping the run as much as I thought they could. This man has done shot up. Like I said, you're never getting him cheap again. Kenneth Walker at Arizona is also a good play, 8,300. Joe Mixon against Carolina is at 81. Ramondre Stevenson against struggling Indianapolis defense is at 8,000. And like I said, one of my favorite plays right here, and he's at 7,800. Aaron Jones against Detroit, that's one of my favorite plays right there. And right under him is another favorite play. Like, there's literally like 3 guys back to back that are my favorite plays, and they're not even the top options. Looking at the top options, you gotta love Austin Eckler because right now he's probably fantasy's most complete back along with Christian McCaffrey, because both of those guys are literally equally. I understand Aaron Jones has been getting a lot of passes, but Austin Eckler and Christian McCaffrey equally, especially with the 49ers, are equally involved in both the run game and the pass game, and they're the lead back. But when I talk about this little trip set here, 7,800 Aaron Jones at Detroit. Travis Etienne. Who told you about Travis Etienne? This guy. 7,600 home against Las Vegas, and DeAndre Swift. Maybe they uptake his role more instead of getting vultured. Maybe he gets the passing and maybe he gets the goal line look. He's going against Green Bay, who has not been that good at stopping the run this year. He's 7,500. And once again, FanDuel's not stupid. Just in case anything happens during practice, Jamal Williams right there next to him at 7,500. Deontay Foreman, who's just literally he's like the new fantasy household name. Deontay Foreman is 7,300 at Cincinnati. We'll scroll down a little bit. My next favorite play will most likely be okay. So I like this little trio right here too. They all have good matchup, but once again, it all depends on injury status. James Conner's still nursing those ribs from a couple weeks ago, landing on the football, and he landed on that football hard. So he's 6,600 along with Eno Benjamin, home against Seattle. If not, you can go 100 lower. Raheem Mostert, he's the lead back, but here's the thing: it all depends on if that's game script, because that ball is being flung all over the place. Raheem Mostert, I love Raheem Mostert. He just always gets these devastating injuries and can't really stay healthy. But like I said, he was a victim of game script. He was a good player, just that ball was thrown all over the place. Plus, Miami got down early. So he was a victim of game script, but he still, against Detroit, ran 14 times for 64 yards. Still decent per average with only one catch in the backfield, but we know how that Miami offense is. Raheem Mostert will be a threat, but he's definitely somebody that depends on game script. It's something like even as great as Derrick Henry. Yes, they're throwing him the ball more, but if the Titans are down by a lot, Derrick Henry will not be in the game. No matter how much they've been throwing him the ball lately, all of a sudden, Raheem Mostert, it's all about game script. So there's a little bit of a risk there. But against Chicago won't be jumping on them early unless Tua, makes some mistakes, fumble recovery. That young defense gets a little wild and crazy, pick up a pick six, or maybe fumble recovery and snatch it back. But against Chicago, I think Raheem Mostert is a safe play. I don't think you got to worry about game script against Chicago. You want to keep going down a little bit. Tyler Algier, you want to pay down a little bit. He has a good matchup against Los Angeles Chargers. They've disappointed me. I really thought getting Mack and all these guys, they would be a lot better on defense, but they're not. He's 6,400. You got Damian Harris at 6,200, home against Indy. Chuba Hubbard has the ankle, so if Chuba comes back, be careful with Deontay Foreman. He will take some carries away because Chuba was the direct backup, but now Deontay Foreman seems to be running away with that job. He seems to be fading, but this is the game where I think if they even get slightly ahead, they're going to use both running backs and pound it. The last few weeks, he has been taking most of the carries and most of the opportunities in most of the touches from the backfield, running and passing. So that's why A.J. Dillon is so far from Aaron Jones. Remember, early in the season, they weren't too far from each other. But now A.J. Dillon is damn near 61, so he's damn near getting into punt territory. I think that's a GPP play if you want to go that route. And after that, I don't think there's anything else here that you really want to see. Maybe Devin Singletary against the Jets for 6,000 even. After that, there's not really much, to be honest. Because of because of injury concern, trade concerns as well. Maybe you could go against Darrell Henderson against Tampa Bay. That's not the same run defense anymore. Cam Akers is damn near getting ready to either be traded. The thing with Cam Akers getting ready to be traded or cut. They don't want him. So, after that, yeah, there's really nothing down here at all. Not at all. So we can go right to wide receiver. Let's go right to the wide receivers and see what's going on here. We are now looking at so the most expensive wide receivers. They're literally tied and right next to each other. So we'll go Cooper Kupp. He's dealing with an ankle injury. It's reported to not be severe. He's at 9,000. So is Justin Jefferson. The reports is it's not like a high ankle sprain, it's more like a rolled ankle, so he'll get treatment on it. They'll give him some rest and have him ready to go against Tampa Bay. They definitely need him against Tampa Bay to get back on the road, and Tampa Bay seems to be the team to get that passing game. Have Cooper Kupp run some wide receiver screen, run some slants, and even run some deep routes. Cooper Kupp definitely seems to be the guy to pay up for, and he's not like at that 94, 97 range. 9,000 is still up there, but just not as bad. Like I said, Justin Jefferson at Washington, that's a comeback spot. I think he'll probably be more popular owned than Cooper Kupp. No, against Tampa Bay, no. Kupp is going to need more, but Justin Jefferson should be picked up. This is another week. Pick what you want. Pick if you want to load up a wide receiver and go low on running back. You got Stephon Diggs going against the Jets at 89. He's only 100 less. Tyreek Hill is only 2 less than Stephon Diggs against Chicago at 87. D-Hop is at 86. Home against Seattle. Whoa, what did I just do here? Go back to wide receiver. Thank you. Tyreek's partner, Jalen Waddle, 82. Devontae Adams, like I said, that's another guy. That's another comeback spot. He's 81. Let's get down to the 7,000 territory. We got T. Higgins. Oh, he's right there at 8,000. He's coming up in salary a little bit. Mike Evans at 77. Tyler Lockett, deep threat against Arizona, is at 76. Keenan Allen still nursing a hamstring. I think Keenan Allen is ready to come back. He's ready to go. He's at 75. DK Metcalf, I'm sorry about that. DK Metcalf, 7,400. Once again, it looked like the knee injury wasn't. He doesn't even have an injury designation, so he looked like he's ready to go. If you want to get a little bit away from like certain type of ownership, once again, like I said, they may not be playing well, but Washington home against Minnesota, like I said, Heineke's going to throw it to Terry McLaurin. It's just that simple. He's going to throw it to McLaurin. So DJ Moore is literally the only wide receiver in Carolina, the main wide receiver. He's going to get force-fed the ball like Kupp gets force-fed the ball, just cheaper at 7,000. Other plays, you're going to have Tyler Boyd. Once again, he's going to take up some of the chase volume or whatever, 6,900 against Carolina. Other favorite plays, Gabe Davis at 66. Like I said, Lazard's at 65, but he's nursing the shoulder. He's rocking the Q-tag, so just got to monitor that situation. Christian Kirk is also a nice play. He had like I said, who doesn't have a tough time rotating against Surtain, Simmons, and those Bronco defensive backs? Christian Kirk's at 63 going against a softer defensive backfield in Las Vegas. So there are options. They're cheap options. There are a few nice paydown options to help you at least get 1 depending on what you do at running back and defense, two of those top wide receivers. It seems like that might be the move to go to. Alan Thielen has a questionable knee tag. Once again, he did pretty decent in his last game, so he has a, once again, soft matchup going against Washington at 62. Like I said, I like Romeo Doubs this week to catch one deep or perform even better. Romeo Doubs is at 6,100 at Detroit. Mike Williams is currently out. Maybe something pops up. Maybe his ankle isn't as bad. Hopefully, maybe he'll pop up with something. But right now, no. That ankle injury has him missing 4 weeks. So, I'm sorry for misdiagnosing that. So, Mike Williams won't be gone. So, hopefully, Keenan Allen comes back. Now, one of the Chargers guys I did just pass, Joshua Palmer, is in concussion protocol. So, if he doesn't play, if Joshua Palmer doesn't make it, even if Mike Williams is out, they do like to run three wide receiver sets. Three wide receiver sets, sometimes with a tight end, sometimes without. So if they do that, then you might want to, I'm going to have to skip a few guys just so I can talk about him. He's going to have, like I said, he's going to have a soft matchup. He's worth a look, 5,500 DeAndre Carter. Once again, definitely pay attention to the Joshua Palmer concussion news because he's next. He's definitely the guy that's next in the rankings. Like I said, we already spoke about Romeo Doubs. Rondell Moore caught his first touchdown, so will he be able to do something? I mean, that's a risky GPP play. That's what Rondell Moore is there for. Van Jefferson just came back and had 8 targets, 4 for 23. That's a good thing. They definitely need the help, take the little pressure off. Like I said, against Tampa Bay, that's another GPP play at 5,800. Other than that, we could be looking at Josh Reynolds at 57. Drake London has disappeared. He's 5,600. That's a GPP play, but I don't know. Curtis Samuel against Minnesota. He's at 56. Like I just mentioned, DeAndre Carter. Other GPP plays. Who knows? He could catch one deep. He just doesn't do it as much as Gabe Davis. But Isaiah McKenzie could get up in there against the Jets at 55. And this is where you're really like stretching it. GPP play. Sammy Walker catches one deep on that good turf in the dome from Aaron Rodgers. Yes, it's possible for 5,400. He catches one deep without a touchdown. He makes his day. Obviously, you hope for the touchdown. And man, GPP play because he's so cheap. You hope he can get underneath and do something, especially if Dan Wall not there. Hunter Renfrow is now down to 54. I think he started the season in the mid-6s, so I don't know, man. Things are happening. Things are not going really that good in the with the Raiders at the moment. And I'll go down as far as right here. KJ Osborne. KJ Osborne caught a touchdown last week. Could do it again against another very soft Washington defense. He's at 53. And from here, I don't really see anything else that's worth mentioning at all. Yeah, he didn't really do much, but hey, like I said, he can get acclimated and maybe he could get one big play. That's what he's meant for. He only got 3 targets in his Minnesota debut. Robbie Anderson just got traded to Arizona, so that's a dart throw, 5,100. Robbie Anderson dart throw to go deep, dart throw. GPP play for sure. Big field GPPs, not even small single entries. Big field GPPs or big field single entries. Let's head off to the tight end. Once again, a lot of the big dogs are gone. This looks like another ugly week in the tight end field. The most expensive tight end is 6,600, and that's Zach Ertz. Once again, with the match against Seattle, Kyle Pitts. You just hope that he gets something for 63 against Los Angeles. T.J. Hawkinson, the same thing. 6,200. Tyler Higbee, 6,100 against the Rams. It's a dart though. You can pick anything here. Like, I'm not going to lie. If he's healthy and he's ready to go, it seems like he's semi-improving every week. But if he's ready to go, I'm sorry. But I think my smash play might be Darren Waller. Now, it's a dangerous because as much as he's been hurt, do they push him to a full workload? That's the thing that you got to worry about. But if he's playing, I'm going to him. I mean, when you look at that tight end field, like, no disrespect, but and not because he's a big name, but he has big play potential or whatever. So big playmaking potential. After that, you can have Gerald Everett at 5,800, Gesicki at 5,500. If Darren Waller doesn't play, Foster Moreau's 5,400. After Darren Waller, the only other guy that I'm like, I do like that matchup, and he has been playing well this season. Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst is 5,300. Like I said, he'll definitely pick up some more volume with Jamar Chase out. Through the season, he's pretty much steady and consistent. I mean, once again, I think I did bring it up. There was a couple times I started bringing up targets. When tight end is ugly like this, listen to these targets, and he's getting the opportunities to play. And then most importantly, he was getting the opportunities when the trio of Boyd, Higgins, and Chase was healthy. From week 1, from Pittsburgh, 8 targets, 7 targets, 2 targets, 4 targets, 7 targets, 3 targets. Last week got 8 targets. That's the man you want. I'm sorry. After Waller, he's the guy that I want. 5,300 this week. Last week, well, obviously I'm not looking at the game right now. I'm busy watching hockey and doing the show for you guys right now. Against Atlanta on the 20. Before tonight, against Atlanta on the 23rd, 8 targets, 6 receptions, 48 yards. He has games where, I mean, you're going to be happy as hell if he gets a touchdown. But if he doesn't, he's not going to kill you at 5,300. His normal production alone can get you 10 points. So, I like Hayden Hurst. But with his targets, that's where the touchdown upside comes from because he has the opportunity to get that. Okay, so after that, I don't really think there's anything else. You want to go deeper? I mean, there's some things here. You got Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram caught he was a good target over the middle and caught a touchdown against the Broncos in London. He's 5,200. Dawson Knox 51 against the Jets. Robert Tonyan, he's getting healthier as the season goes on. Remember, he was coming back from ACL. He's coming back with more speed, looks more healthier, stronger running the routes. He's 5,000. We're in true punt territory here. Irv Smith Jr. is getting targets, 4,900. And then after that, it's pretty much, you're going to leave it from right there. But, if you ask me, I mean, can you go to Ertz? Of course, because Murray's going to throw it to him. But if you really want to save a tight end this week, I think there's some fine options. And like I said, if Darren Waller's there at 6,000, I'm taking him because, once again, after Zach Ertz, it starts at 66. So you're really paying down. Like, you're really budgeting at tight end even if you pay up top. But my favorite value is Hayden Hurst, 5,300. And let's get to the defenses because you know I love talking defense with you guys. Okay, so Buffalo's 5,000, got the Jets. New England, they're going against that new Indianapolis quarterback Ellinger, 4,900. They got Tampa. That's a risk there. Not a lot of people are going to be comfortable with that. I understand the Rams are struggling too, but not a lot of people are going to be happy because they know damn well Stafford finally cut by himself. They may not win the game, but I damn sure believe Cooper Kupp could knock your scores down a little bit. You're picking Tampa Bay. This is what you're hoping for: a couple of sacks and the traditional. He leads the league in them pick sixes. That's what you're looking for. If you don't get the pick six, if you don't get that pick six, wasting 4,700 on Tampa Bay is just a waste of time. You're better off paying 40. You might as well find the 300 for Buffalo. You might as well if you're gonna go Tampa Bay defense. That's just my opinion. You can do what you want. Right under them is 4,500 Minnesota against Washington. Other favorite plays are the Rams. I actually like the Rams against Tampa Bay, 4,300. You could get some mistakes out of Jared Goff, Green Bay at Detroit, 4,100. Once again, they are playing over their heads. They were my favorite defense last week, but now they're on the road. Can they get Kyler Murray to do some things? Yeah, Seattle at 4,100. After that, I think if you want me to start looking down at pay down defenses, right now, the first thing I notice is Miami, even though they're on the road. Yes, Justin Fields is going to be using his legs, but I like Miami, 3,600. else? I think right now that's my favorite pay down option. Yeah, that's the main one that I like. I don't like Las Vegas against Jacksonville. I don't like New York. I don't like Carolina. I mean Carolina. I mean, if you want to take a risk, I mean, if you made me risk it and pick under 3,500, then yeah, Carolina is the one that I want. Because I'm not picking Detroit, even though Atlanta's at home. I'm not comfortable picking Atlanta, and I'm not picking Chicago at home against Miami. I'm not doing that. So, pay down options on FanDuel when you're looking at under 4,000, or at least under 3,700. Because at 4,000, there's a couple of at 4,100, 4,000, there's a couple of decent options. Like I said, you got the Rams at 43, you got the Packers at 41. You could if I could fit it or whatever. If I don't want to go cheap or whatever, that's fine. Yeah, I got no problem with Seattle. I can get Kyler Murray some sacks, some fumbles, and some interceptions as well. But like I said, that offense did look at least a little bit better with D Hop, so we'll see. Yeah, I guess you could flip that around too. Right under them is Arizona at 4,000. But yeah, when it comes to pay down options, yeah, I'm liking Miami at 36, and I'm loving Miami at 36, liking Carolina at 33. So that's the Week 9 preview. Hope you enjoyed the information. Hey man, there's some news still ready to come out. I will do my best to try and do a trade. I guess you could call it like a trade deadline review or whatever, and then like maybe put on some picks out there. Oh, I did take a look at the sportsbook Reddit. There's some heavy favorites, man. There's some -700s out there. There's some -460s out there. Looks like you guys are gonna have to jump on the spread. We'll talk about that more later. Think of that more like an interlude into the next episode. But Week 9 preview is done. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. For the people who obviously know me or who are watching it, hit me up with if you want me to talk about something on the side that I didn't cover. But hope I gave you, your top options. You got to talk about your low options. And yeah, as you can see, I'm rocking the orange. It was a good day in London for some football team from Colorado. But yeah, this is Great A Fantasy signing off. Let's ride.